Well, I guess we are live already. And I want to say good evening, or maybe good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I'm in Kissimmee, Florida, and it's already 7 p.m. here. And I see Astarte Deva. Namaste, namaste. How beautiful. Thank you for being here. I see some people joining. Welcome, welcome. We are about to start our webinar on ancestral healing through family constellations. Thank you for joining us. I'm trusting that this information that I'm going to share with you will help you amplify your perspectives about the relevance of healing our past and our ancestors' past. So welcome, welcome you. I'm welcoming you all. All of us, whether we are aware or not, are at a service to heal life, to heal the programming of the past that still affects us today. And you might ask, what is that programming, right? And we will be talking about it. The programming is the unresolved memories that our ancestors lived in the past that carry repetitive patterns of abandonment, rejection, betrayal, abuse, humiliation, and injustice. And these patterns are the root cause of our emotional pain and suffering, as well as of our limiting beliefs. Also, the consequences of these patterns are attached to disease, states of anxiety, stress, fear, depression, failure, loss, instability, and surviving. And so, welcome to be here. And I'm hoping that this information serve you well tonight. All of these that I was just talking about are part of the information that we carry unconsciously. That has been our genetic inheritance, the one that we must reconcile in order to liberate ourselves from it. Otherwise, we will keep repeating the same patterns as an invisible loyalty to our clan. So, thank you for your presence today and for accepting this call to see this possibility to heal the collective through your own healing. It is said that we are one. So, as we heal ourselves, we heal the oneness. So, I invite you to take notes about what resonates with you, about your family system unconscious dynamics and patterns, and to take a look at yourself and see if you are following any of this. I hope this information brings a new light for you. My name is Maya Dari del Sol. I facilitate family constellations and I train souls who want to serve life facilitating this method for others. So let's talk a little bit about what we will be doing tonight. Astarte, where are you today? Like, where are you located? I'd like to know a little bit more about where you guys are. And thank you for being here. I don't know if we are also live on, we are on YouTube, by the way. And so I'd like to know a little bit more about you. What were you called when you heard about family constellations, for example? And by the way, I want to invite you throughout the whole presentation that I'm going to do tonight to leave any comments at any time. Comments or Oh, you are on the East Coast, same time zone. Awesome. You are in Pennsylvania. Welcome. Love it. So I just want to open this invitation for you to whatever information that I bring out here that somehow bring you an insight, a question, or something that you want to go deeper, just leave it on the comments. And at the end, I will be more than happy to answer any of those questions you have or those insights. So let's talk a little bit about what we will be doing tonight. First, I will share the content about how the unresolved memories of our ancestors affect us today, how we are connected to our family system patterns and dynamics, and how this affects our reality in aspects such as our relationships, health, abundance, and prosperity. Also, a way to create systemic order to transcend repetitive patterns that cause pain and suffering so we can redirect ourselves towards a different destiny. And lastly, a possibility to serve others and life through the facilitation of this ancestral healing method called family constellations. So welcome, welcome. And of course, at the end, we will have our Q&A session. Are we ready to start? I would say yes. So why don't we begin with a question? And the question is, what would you be if you felt free of emotional pain, fears, or limiting thoughts? Think about it. If we are a fragment of light from the Creator, think about what you would be able to create and manifest in your life if you had no limitations. Because we are living in the new consciousness for humanity, but we cannot see it or act upon it because we must first detach from the past. We must liberate those unresolved emotions and perspectives of our ancestors by recreating order within to be able to live and experience ourselves in that new consciousness. So, at this point in the process of evolution for humanity, all souls that are living this human experience chose to help transcend the past. Whether you remember this part of your soul agreement or not, we all came with different missions, and one of them is to help transcending the ancestral past through our own healing. We are looking forward to creating a harmonious reality and destiny for all. Yet, we are carrying genetically the unresolved memories of the past. Most of the pain or suffering we feel today is connected to the emotional resonance of a memory that could have happened to you or to any of your ancestors. Unconsciously, we could identify with any of these unresolved memories. That is where all the feelings of sadness, anger, frustration, resentment, hate, guilt, low self-esteem, or shame that causes states of anxiety, stress, or depression come from. All the dynamics that create dysfunction, such as dependency or codependency, financial issues, and even disease, have been part of our genetic inheritance. And you might say, but how does this happen? Because we want to know, how does this happen? You usually think that what happened to our ancestors is just think of the past and it won't affect us. But scientifically, epigenetics has proved that we inherit in our DNA not only the genetic information, but also the memories of adaptation that our ancestors went through in order to survive. This means that these memories may be dormant in us, but they activate at any time if we go through a moment of stress like the one our ancestors experienced. When this happens, we only respond emotionally or behave as they did. It is as if we relive the past in the present with a different scenario, but with a similar type of experience. Most of us tend to think that when we go through difficult situations, it's because of fate or bad luck. Or we tend to blame others for what happens and how we feel in these situations. But in reality, what happens is that we attract situations that brings us conflict and we are not aware of it. So why do we attract these situations in our life? It is important to understand the why so we can get out of the pattern and the role of being the victim, right? So it is said that there are no victims, only volunteers. So awareness, of course, is key. Why do we attract these difficult situations in our life? Number one, as souls, we choose to come to serve the system of life, helping to heal something dysfunctional that causes pain and suffering. To do this, we must choose a family system, and this system must be carrying some unresolved memories, such as abandonment, abuse, betrayal, rejection, or humiliation. Yes? Number two, to recognize what we came to hear, we must go through it. That isn't the fun part. We must experience pain to be willing to transform it. Otherwise, we wouldn't bother. Yes? So pain becomes the spark to begin a process of transformation, to transform that pain into consciousness, and finally to be able to feel love. Does it make sense to you now? Yes, it is important to understand why did I accepted this, right? So what happened in our childhood is the continuation of what our parents and ancestors couldn't resolve in the past. The descendants are showing what the system hasn't seen, healed, integrated, liberated, or transcended. Yes? Someone needs to liberate the system of these unresolved memories of the past. And maybe that could be you that will be listening to this information tonight. So, pretty much, this is the reason for our repetitive patterns. We don't see it, we just follow unconsciously, of course. So, I'm trusting that you are one of those descendants, and I'm sure because you're here, who are willing to stop the wave of unconsciousness to help not only yourself, but to facilitate the path for the ones that are to come and to help liberate the ones that didn't know there was a possibility to free these memories. Yes? See, what is beautiful is that when one heals, we all heal. When we are one piece of a single unit, when one reconcile anything within, two things happen. Number one, you feel well. And this state of peace and freedom will set you in a new state of mind. And number two, well, you will feel confident to move forward in life. The reason why we don't move with confidence is because we know deep inside there is something pulsing within that we fear. And those are the unresolved memories of our ancestors. There is a part of us that lives in fear and is trying to protect us from going through pain again. But if you see it twice, that is not living, that is surviving. And we are not to be in that mode anymore. Things have changed. We only need to liberate the emotional suffering of our ancestors and their fears to recreate a new destiny for all. There is a phrase that says, those who don't know their past are condemned to repeat it. That's why I'm here today, to share with you this possibility to transcend our past. I trust that this information resonates with you, and I hope you feel called to participate in this transformation. So let's talk about which ones could be those memories of the past that can affect you today and how. Believe it or not, we are living the same stories as in the past. For example, why does someone want to be in control of everything? Let's say, are you one of those who want to control everything? And this can come from a memory of war or war powers. Think about the conquest. How did it happen? We control because we have fear of others wanting to invade our space, or we want to have power over others. Here, the energies of the victim and the perpetrator start to play. Or you become the controller or the victim of being controlled. This can happen in scenes such as at work or in our relationships. So as you can see, what happened in the past still happening in a different way today. Let's see an example of how it can happen in relationships. There are two in a relationship, and one is, let's say, narcissistic or the macho man, and the other accepts to be the victim of it. This memory can be connected to conquest, slavery, or patriarchy. Yes, it is a similar dynamic, but in modern times. Make sense? Yes? So, why would you play the role of a victim? We don't want to be the victim nor the perpetrator, but that is the information that we are carrying from our family system and ancestors. Who, who was dominant in your house? Where did you learn that? Or is it maybe an ancestral inheritance? Can you see it? Yes? Another example. Why do women feel fear to express or they feel low self-esteem? It could be that they are carrying the conditioning of certain religious beliefs or the patriarchy too. See? Why do some people feel unrooted, disconnected, or invisible? Maybe they are carrying in their system memories of exclusion. Think about how the colonization made indigenous people deny their roots to believe in what the colonization people wanted. Think about what all of these memories carry at an emotional level. Just think of that. Now think about that all the memories of humanity are in each of us. They are imprinted in our genetic information. This information carries strength, but also fear and pain. That is why all souls who are incarnated in a body are working to heal those memories of the past, to free the system of life, and to align to a higher consciousness that can allow us to experience a different reality for all. We are in the process of understanding the oneness through feeling that we are one. So, in order to create this experience of the oneness, we must take responsibility for solving our part and to let go of the separation of our mind with the programming of the past. What is your part? It could be to identify and transcend the memories of the past that affect your family system and that affect you directly. I ask you, what is not flowing in order in your life today? Just think about it. Your relationships, your finances, your health, the success in your life. We must reconcile the unresolved emotional resonance of our past. And to do this work, you must embark in a journey to heal your soul. If you already know what you want to manifest, but it is not happening for you, I'm telling you, unconsciously, you could be trapped in the memories of suffering and limitation of your ancestors. Our mind knows what we want, but our soul doesn't know, it only feels. And if the information that the soul keeps is of pain, the result will bring suffering. In order to change the perspective of suffering, we need to live an experience of reconciliation. Without inner reconciliation, what we want stays in the head but doesn't go down into the heart. If the soul doesn't feel this reconciliation, our pain keeps us separated from the consciousness of love. So, my commitment to you today is to share this information on how to reconcile your past and, of course, your ancestors' past. Yes? I know many of you are ready to transform those unconscious memories and don't allow you to, that those unconscious memories that don't allow you to enjoy your life to the fullest. Yes? I wish I knew this information that I'm going to share when I was going through my valley, as I call it, without understanding why I was there. Have you ever asked this question before? Why did this happen to me? I was there. That was me too. I didn't know that some of my deepest unrecognized feelings and patterns were connected to some of my ancestors' stories. It's frustrating and painful trying to change something when you don't know what what it is. I felt lost. I couldn't identify the root of the conflict, nor how to cut it. Yes? So, also, of course, I'm in the therapeutic field. So, as a healer, I realized that I was missing a piece of the puzzle to help others more effectively. So, I had to delve deeper until I found it. Would you like to have this piece of the puzzle? That's why I'm here tonight. I truly feel that this piece is essential, perhaps the most essential in the healing process. When I talk about the missing piece of the puzzle, I'm talking about healing the systemic part, the family and the ancestors. This is a part that many don't see or even think about, but it is the one that deeply affects the individual development. Let me tell you a little bit about how this systemic part affected my life, especially my relationships. Hmm? The unconsciousness patterns of my family system that I followed as an invisible loyalty were those of abandonment and betrayal. I never thought that what was happening to me was connected to my family system. I thought that it was fate or that I had bad luck. Also, I had the tendency to blame others for what happened to me, but I never asked myself, would it be me? And so I experienced these patterns story after story, like an endless procession for most of my life until I reached a breaking point in my life. Hmm? When I was 33 years old, I got pregnant with my son Angelo. And to continue with the pattern of abandonment, guess what? The father of my son wasn't present. This moment for me was my dark night of the soul. It knocked me down, and I stayed down, crawling through this valley of darkness for about 2 years of my life without understanding why things had happened to me that way. This lack of understanding took me to a roller coaster of emotions. Sometimes I used to fall into states of deep sadness, and others aroused anger, frustration, and resentment. I was angry at men and even with God. After I gave birth, I fell into a big depression that led my body to illness. I started to notice that the pain I felt was not because of the absence of my son's father, but it was something deeper that was incomprehensible for me and that I couldn't define what it was. When I decided to get out of this mental and emotional state, I realized that I needed help. And that moment was when I began my healing journey. I became a student and a practitioner and a facilitator of different healing modalities for, of course, body, mind, and spirit. For years, I facilitated Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation, energy healing, nutrition, shamanism, massage, and coaching. At the end of this journey, my body was strong. I felt full of energy and very positive. However, there was something that was still missing. It was that feeling that spoke to me from the depths of my being, and that was my soul. I knew then that I was missing that piece of the puzzle. So I decided to delve deeper to find the roots of where these feelings came from. And that was when I found the experience of family constellations, which helped me identify and transcend that incomprehensible pain that was in the depths of my being and that was connected to the memories of my childhood and my family system. I could recognize that my primary wound was abandonment. My feelings of loneliness and sadness were related to the absence of my father who left home when I was 8 months old. I was carrying the sadness of my mother when my father left, plus guilt. I was blaming myself for what happened. Furthermore, I was being loyal to that memory. That's why I kept attracting relationships that ended in abandonment. And you know what else I found? I discovered that in my two lineages, my mother's and my father's, there were stories of abandonment and betrayal. These were some of the unresolved memories of my family system that I followed unconsciously. I repeated the pattern as an invisible loyalty to them. And since I didn't know it, guess who else has already gone through it? Yes, my son Angelo. I rephrase, the one who doesn't know his history is condemned to repeat it. We are all connected to the unresolved memories of our ancestors. It seems that our past and that of our ancestors is part of yesterday. But if our past hasn't been reconciled, it is as present as today, and it is affecting our relationships, health, finances, and the success in our lives. The more we ignore our past, the less we heal our present. Can you see it? So, there are two important observations to follow in order to heal. Are you ready to take notes? Thank you, Astarte, for all the comments. I'll be so happy to share a little bit at the end. Yes, I can see you are related to my story and what I was saying. Yes, that's my idea, that you can start connecting with this information and review yourself. Where am I related to this information? So, are you ready to take notes? Yes, say yes. I'm going to give you the map because no hero goes on a journey without a map. Is that right? So, what's your goal with this map? Your goal is to identify and transcend the dysfunctional memories of your past that affect you as an individual and that affect your family system. We want to create individual and collective healing. Yes? All right. So I trust that this knowledge can serve you as a stepstone towards a different reality and destiny in your life. So the two observations involve, write it down. Number one, rescuing your inner child, which means finding and healing the memories that involve emotional pain from your childhood. Number 2, identifying and reconciling the unresolved memories that involve emotional pain from your family system. So let's talk a bit about each of these. Um, let's talk about the first one. When we were children, even from our mother's womb, every experience impacted us in different ways. All these memories are stored in our unconscious mind. Whether you remember them or not, these memories dictate your emotional reactions and behaviors. When we experience, let's say, trauma, this gets ingrained in us at a physical, emotional, and mental level. At a cellular level, the nervous system feels it. The experience arouses a feeling, an emotion, and a perspective of what happened or of what we believe it happened. And this is how our memories are created. I'm going to give you an example. Imagine that a pregnant mother has a relationship with a partner who acts abusively, let's say physically or psychologically. The child in the womb doesn't understand abuse, but is already feeling it. Cells have their own intelligence. At the energetic level, the mother senses the information first through the nervous system and the child as well. This is a memory that gets imprinted on the child. As this child grows up as an adult, he might not remember the memory, right? But he or she may become the victim of abuse or the one who abuses others. Unconsciously, he or she has permission to become the victim or the perpetrator of that energy. Can you see? Our experiences of rejection, abandonment, betrayal, humiliation, and injustice created wounds in our hearts and mask or defense mechanisms to protect our hearts. Perhaps as children, we felt a lack of love, attention, acceptance, approval, recognition, affection, or care. These experiences left emotional voids in us. And if we haven't healed those wounds yet, we are still looking to fill those emotional gaps somewhere else or expecting someone to fill them up for us. Most people expect their partner or children to fill those emotional gaps when they don't know this information, for example. See, I'm just going to give here an example. One partner looks for the ideal parent on the other, so unconsciously, let's say the wife becomes energetically the mother of her husband or vice versa. See, it's like we are looking to fill these gaps in the other, or the other to give me what I think I'm missing or I wasn't given. But the thing is that it is not for others to fill our emotional gaps. We must take responsibility to heal those memories of our childhood that we experience with our parents so we can integrate them energetically. It's all about integration. Otherwise, we transfer or project our feelings of anger, sadness, resentment, or frustration that we feel towards our parents onto others. And this creates lots of conflict in all relationships, especially in couples relationships. When that child in us hasn't healed those emotional gaps, he or she becomes the one who commands our emotions and behaviors, and also the one who creates dynamics of manipulation, victimization, dependence, codependency, and many others. So the solution is to integrate those memories. And we will be talking about how to integrate those memories. So let's just go slow, but we will get there. If our parents couldn't maybe feel those or our emotional needs, it is probably that because they didn't maybe receive that either. So they don't know how to give that kind of love. Probably they also have the same emotional gaps and are not even aware of them. As you can see, we attract what we haven't resolved until we get to see it and heal it. Yes. I once had a client who came to therapy because all her life she had been a dependent wife of a very controlling husband. And when they divorced, she felt alone, unprotected, not knowing what to do, and betrayed, right, as her ex husband had found another woman before the separation. So it was difficult for her to take control of her life. When I asked this woman about her mother, she realized that her mother had been emotionally and financially dependent on her father, and her father had left her for another woman. So this had been at this moment when the father left the woman or the mother, it was very difficult for her to cope with or to survive and to resume her life. So this woman pretty much was repeating her mother's story. Also, she was carrying her mother's unresolved emotions and limitations. After she recognized and liberated her invisible loyalties to her clan, she could choose to make things differently. She became, as I say, a badass businesswoman, right? Leader. Today, she works independently, has a new partner, and feels fulfilled with what she's doing. She discovered her own potential. Can you see the root of conflict of when this started for this woman? Have you seen this sort of dynamics in others? Think about it: manipulation, victimization, codependency. If you are a healer or a therapist, have you seen issues of this nature in your clients? So, the first task for anybody is to identify and heal those wounds from childhood in order to take responsibility for our unconscious emotions, reactions, and behaviors that come from the wounded inner child in us. As we heal these wounds, we grow emotionally and attract healthier and more conscious relationships and experiences. Can you see that what the parents couldn't resolve, the children must experience until one of the descendants heals to change the destiny of the system? Are you following this information? Yes? So, the second observation to work on is to identify and reconcile the unresolved memories of your family system that cause emotional pain and mental limitations. Hmm? When a memory of trauma, let's say, doesn't get resolved, that information remains ingrained in the person's DNA. Remember that a memory stores information at a cellular, emotional, and mental level. And if they weren't reconciled, they are inheritable. As epigenetics has shown, what our parents and ancestors experienced pulses in us. It has a transgenerational effect. We inherit their stress, trauma, fears, illness, paradigms, and unresolved conflicts. All this information passed to us through our genetic codes. Transgenerational is like a relay race. The grandmother passes the information to the daughter, and the daughter to the granddaughter. But if the last descendant in the line doesn't recognize what he or she is carrying, the race is endless. The ultimate destination is to repeat the same dysfunctional pattern over and over. Can you see that what happens to us is not a matter of bad luck or fate, but of the unconsciousness that we have been carrying for generations? So in order to change these memories, we first need to identify the root of the conflict that comes from the past. So let's not try to resolve it here, but let's go to the past. These memories are pulsating in our collective soul or morphogenetic field, which is like a hologram that holds the memories of your life, that of your ancestors, and all the memories of all humanity. This field of memories allow us to see and identify the unresolved emotions or perspectives of what happened in the past, especially the ones that affect the descendants present in different aspects of their lives, psychologically, physically, emotionally, and energetically. So, what comes after identifying the repetitive pattern of the unresolved memories? We need to create systemic order to reconcile those memories. And you might ask, systemic order, what is that? So let's get into the content. Bert Hellinger developed the method that we know as family constellations. And I want to clarify that family constellations are not astrology. It's just the name of this method. Family constellations are a healing method or a tool to identify and transcend a person's conflicts that are linked to the unresolved memories or the unconscious patterns of his or her family system. Yes? Family constellations gives the possibility to revisit those unresolved memories of the past. Find the trapped emotions and perspectives of our ancestors. Identify the invisible loyalties that you follow from your clan. And the most important one, it gives you the opportunity to reconcile internally those memories through creating systemic order. Again, the word systemic order. We will get there to the systemic order. So let's talk a little bit about Bert Hellinger. In his early career as a missionary, Hellinger was sent to Africa to work with the Zulu tribe. And to his surprise, he noticed that they lived in great harmony and that the way they reconciled was through mutual respect, acceptance, and recognition. And these principles and their application became the base of the family constellations method. How do you feel when you feel belonging, recognized, and respected? Loved, right? So Bert Hellinger used to say that where there is order, love follows. So we must integrate these systemic principles within to create a ripple effect outside of us. As I say, when you change it inside, you see the manifestation outside, outside, outside. Let me get some water. So let's talk about how to create systemic order through these principles. There are three systemic principles. Number one, the order of belonging. Number two, the order of hierarchy. And number three, the order of equilibrium. Let's talk about each of those. Let's begin by talking about the principle of belonging. We all belong to the system of life, right? So every member of the family has the same right to belong. When a family member is denied, rejected, or excluded from the clan, this creates a void in the system that needs to be filled for other members. Did you see the movie Encanto? No one talks about Bruno. That was the excluded one. It is as if one piece of an engine is missing. Well, the engine doesn't work properly. The same happens in the family system. If one member is not seen or is rejected, excluded, or unrecognized, the whole system feels set energetically. It continues working but creates dysfunctionality. See? So let's see who are the excluded ones because we must understand, so who is the excluded one? Take a look at your system and see what applies to you or to your family system. Yes? So let's talk about the excluded ones. Let's see. The black sheep of the family. Who was the black sheep of the family? Was it you or who was it in your family? 2. Members who choose spiritual beliefs or political parties different from the ones the family system is used to have. So how many times have you excluded others for not being in the same state of mind as you? 3. Members who break the traditional social cultural structures of the system. For example, people who marry with people from other cultures and their families don't accept the others. That is an exclusion. 4th, members who choose sexual preferences that are different from the ones expected by the system. 5th, members who have been judged for what they did. For example, what we call the perpetrators of the system or the criminals, the thief, the liar, the killer, the abuser. Yes, energetically you say, oh, I'm rejecting that energy. So you're excluding energetically. See? Where am I? 6th, maybe? Members who have created shame or dishonor to the family. For example, the mistress. Anybody who interferes with the system positively or negatively belongs to the system. He or she changes the course of the family. Have you seen this in your family system? Because that's one that most people tend to exclude. Let's see who else. Also, members who didn't fulfill the expectations of others from the clan and are being rejected. For example, children who wanted to be an artist when the parents expected a doctor. Who else? Members who haven't been recognized. For example, babies who were given in adoption, or children who were abandoned or rejected by their parents, or opposite, children who exclude their parents because they felt rejected or abandoned. Also, abortions can be part of this. Yes, if these babies or these abortions haven't been recognized, then there is a space there that is missing. You know, it's pulsing an energy of we haven't seen someone and the whole system is feeling it. The thing is that the descendants of the front line are always showing something that hasn't been seen, included, or resolved from the past. When an ancestor is excluded for what he or she did, one of the descendants identifies with this ancestor by doing something similar to the excluded one. It is said that what we resist persists. And this pattern will repeat until it is reconciled. How? It needs inclusion. This requires acceptance. No matter what the person does, says, or thinks, he or she belongs. And this takes me to a good point. When I talk about acceptance, It is not that acceptance that comes from your rational mind that tries to accept. This acceptance must be felt in your heart with sincerity. Otherwise, it's not real. If you don't feel it, it hasn't happened. And for you to feel this acceptance, you need comprehension first. Then you can feel compassion. It is a process. And this can happen in a family constellation experience. So the first order is that of belonging, recognizing and including all members of the system with all. We all belong with everything, not just what I like, but with everything. Are you applying this principle in your life? Who do you reject or exclude when your expectations aren't fulfilled? Did you get to see any exclusions in your family system as I just was speaking? Remember to write your questions or comments in the chat. I'll answer them at the end of the presentation. Shall we continue? Yes. So let's talk about the second order or principle, which is the order of the hierarchy. That's the second principle. And this principle states that we must respect the order of precedence. Yes? So the ancestors came first and the descendants after. For example, parents come before their children, or the oldest sibling arrives before the second sibling, right? So this seems obvious, but in fact, many conflicts are created in the system because we don't apply this principle. This can be seen in cases where, for example, one of the parents is absent and one of the children energetically becomes the absent parent. This child energetically tries to fill the role of the absent parent for his or her siblings and becomes energetically the spouse of his or her other parent. In cases like this child becomes the provider or the savior or the emotional support for the others. Eventually, this child feels trapped in this role that doesn't correspond to him or her and doesn't know how to get out. And this creates conflict for all members of the system. Let me share this case. I once had a client who was in his 50s and he came to Constellate because he wanted to have a wife and a family, but he couldn't make any relationship work. He also wanted to be a parent, but didn't have any children. So he considered himself a good man, responsible, a hard worker, nor a womanizer. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke, the perfect right man to be a husband. And so I asked him for information about his mother. He shared that he lived with her because she had always been very ill and needed care and attention. And the words he used justifying the situation were, well, it is that my poor little mother can't, da 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 da, and I have to do it for her. Yes, so he's sacrificing for her. Seeing the situation from the systemic perspective, and I'm saying from the systemic perspective, this man is married energetically to his mother, or he's taking the role of the mother's father. There is no room here for a woman in his life. This mother is emotionally and physically dependent on her son. The son is energetically trapped in the mother. Yes, and we found in the constellation that her mother had some unresolved emotional voids that he was trying to fill for her. That's why he couldn't get a wife or have children. Yes? So this dynamic created a relationship of dependency. This system was in disorder, and he was occupying a role that didn't correspond to him. And that was affecting his possibility to get a woman for him. In this case, he was taking the role of the father to become the mother's spouse energetically and sometimes her own father. She needed to heal her relationship with her father, and her son was taking that role. Yes? Can you see how this disorder was affecting this man's life? Yes? In the constellation session, he created order by giving back the role of his father and taking the role of the son. He honored both parents. He let go of the role of wanting to save his mother. He gave himself permission to move forward and to create a new possibility for him. Can you see if this principle of hierarchy is being applied in your life? And if it was applied in your system, for example, in your family system, take a look at your relationships and at your family system relationships between siblings and between parents and children. Is everyone honoring their place? Are you honoring your parents? Respecting them? When I talk about honor and respect, it is to accept them as they are or were without judgment. This means respecting the destiny of what they chose and being in gratitude for the life they gave you. And this requires you to allow them to be beside parents, humans, a man and a woman in a process of learning and evolution, just as anybody. Also, it requires you to let go of your expectations from them and what they were supposed to have given you. As you can see, it is a soul process to integrate the parents and the ancestors. It is easy to say it, but many times it is hard to feel it with sincerity. The reconciliation with the parents is key in the development of any individual. Mm? So just think about where you are related to this. And of course, leave any comments in the chat so we can talk about them later once I finish the presentation. Ready for the third principle? Well, the third principle is called the order of equilibrium. And this principle states that you must not give more than you have, nor do take more than you need. When we take or give more of what is needed, we feel the energetic decompensation. Yes, we might not see it consciously, but it is felt. When the decompensation happens, the balance goes off. And this creates energetic debts. I once had a case of a man who came to therapy because he had a hard time forgiving his ex-wife for leaving him. He had the perspective that he had given her anything that any woman wanted, and still she left. So he used to fill her with things that she didn't ask for or needed or need him. And at certain point she left because she felt uncomfortable. She just didn't know how to deal with this excess of things that he was trying to give her. So we can see that giving or taking in excess is not healthy for either party. When we delve deep into his case, we found that this man had an unresolved emotional gap related to the absence of his mother during his childhood. So, what he was trying to do was to keep this woman at any cost so she wouldn't abandon him. See, his wound was that of abandonment. He would feel triggered by any situation that could involve abandonment. So he would try to avoid it at any cost, not to feel the pain again. He was upset and sad, just as when he felt abandoned by his mother. Yes, we relieve the pain of what we haven't healed from our past. So when the principle of equilibrium is out of order, is reflected in relationships of dependency or codependency, emotionally or financially. Yes, a dependent person is needy. I need you. I need your love. I need you to give me. I can't do it myself. Can you see that? It's a behavior of a child that needs a parent. So that applies for also the disorder of hierarchy. Hmm? So the only exception to the rule is between parents and children. And parents, of course, in this systemic principle, give to their children, but children give back to the parents by honoring them and by being happy and successful. One disorder happens when children become the parents of their parents energetically. Yes, if the parents haven't resolved their own emotional needs, they unconsciously expect their children to feel those. And it doesn't correspond to the children to save the parents. This creates disorder that doesn't allow the children to leave the system and go towards life. Yes? So all of this happens, of course, unconsciously at an energetic level. When we don't apply the order of equilibrium, life compensates those energetic debts with illness, death, or financial problems. So, how is this principle showing in your life? Do you give in excess and don't receive in return? Have you seen these dynamics in others? Can you see the relevance of creating systemic order for the system of life to flow more organically and harmoniously? I started keep doing these comments. I so love them. I'm reading them all. I just want to continue and finish this presentation, but I so love what you're sharing there. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yes. So let's go to finish this part of the presentation, and so we can maybe go to what you're sharing there. I would love to share a little bit of your work, of your comments here. So, family constellations, as I was saying, not only serve to solve individual and family issues, it can also help identify and solve organizational conflicts or collective issues. For example, issues in a company or in a country. Everything has a root. It's all systemic. Most of what we live today comes from the transgenerational of what other or our ancestors experienced. What I love the most about this experience is that it not only shows the root of the conflict, but also gives us the possibility of creating reconciliation at an emotional, mental, energetic, and genetic level. Also, this reconciliation happens during the moment of the therapy. And that internal change can even be manifested on the outside, sometimes even right away. Once the mind aligns itself to the inner change, it redirects things towards a different destiny. Yes? The individual who constellates doesn't need months of therapy, only a conscious moment. That is enough to create an inner transformation. The constellation plants the change within, in the soul. And when it changes inside, it happens outside. I'm saying it again. With family constellations, you can resolve issues related to money, a health condition, self-esteem, shame, guilt, anxiety, stress, anger, or depression. All of these are the unexpressed pain of our ancestors. Once we identify and heal those unresolved memories of our ancestors, we feel freedom, at peace, and with a deep understanding of the past. It is said that your truth will set you free. Yes, it will. I once had a client who found me on Google and she called me because she had panic attacks. And she said, I'm desperate. I have done many kinds of therapies, but they haven't worked for me. And I called this a 911 case. And so I opened a space to see her the next day. And when the session ended, her words were these: wow, I had forgotten what it was like to feel peace until now that I'm feeling it again. So the experience of family constellations is a great investment for anyone, not only to untangle what the family and the collective system carries, but to help untangle the system of life. When one part heals, all the parts heal. We can help heal the system of life through our own healing. This can be the best help you can offer to others. If you are a parent, this is the best inheritance you can leave to your children. Your reconciliation with the past will facilitate your children's path so that they are free to repeat the same suffering. If you are a therapist, a coach, a healer, a psychologist, this is a tool that can help your clients heal at a profound level their emotions, unconscious memories, repetitive patterns, and mental limitations. Knowing these benefits, would you be willing to delve deeper to help heal the individual and collective soul? Yes? In 1 hour, it's difficult for me to share everything I would like to share with you. And I share a lot, but I wish I could share more. But that's why I created a family constellation training program where you can delve deeper into your own healing process. Plus, at the same time, you will be trained to serve or facilitate others. The beauty of this training program is that as you learn, you heal and get ready to do it for others or to others. And I can say that at this moment, we need helpers. We need more constellators out there. We are in a moment of transcendence, breaking the patterns of the past that are encoded in our genetic code. So it is time to stop the wave of suffering and to create a new wave of consciousness that can allow us to reconnect and co create from love. You can help. Would you allow me to show you a little bit more about the training program? Yes? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Astarte. I so love your comments. Thank you so much for being so present and for sharing. I so love it. Okay, so let me share a little bit of um, this, which is, let me see, I guess is this the way I'm supposed to do it? Uh, yes, kind of. I wanted to do it bigger, so maybe I should just go like that. Yes, and then, uh, no, that's not the way. I guess this is the way. Oh, this way. What about this one? Yes, I like this one better. All right. So let's talk a little bit about this training program on family and systemic constellations. Yes, Systemic Healing Institute has been created with the intention to help heal the collective and the system of life through the ancestral and individual healing. We teach and facilitate the method of family constellations. Let me see, how can I go to the next one here? Yes. So this training consists of 8 levels of training to transcend the roots of the collective and the individual unconsciousness into love. So as you can see, it's a journey that you will be taking, hopefully, if you feel called to it. And so let's talk about the 8 levels that you will be following if you decide to take this program. Level 1 is called systemic principles. At this level, we do an introduction to family constellations, their origins and history. We will talk about Hellinger and all of what we got to see today, but of course, in a deeper way. Plus, we have observations about the purpose of the soul and how its transcendence is part of the process of our evolution towards a new consciousness. We also will delve into Hellinger's systemic principles and how they could be applied in people's life to improve their relationships. You will also learn about the morphogenetic field and phenomenology, since they are an essential part in the constellation process. This program is mostly 30% content and 70% practice. So in each module, we practice systemic exercises and we do family constellations with the students. Throughout the program, you will be constellated several times. And of course, eventually, with my support, you will be constellating others. So let's go to level 2. Level 2 is called systemic dynamics. And at this level, we are going to delve into the dysfunctional dynamics that started in the past and how these dynamics became repetitive patterns for the descendants. We are taking a deep journey towards the origin of life to discover when the conflict started and what it's for, and how the healing of the individual and the system is part of a plan to heal the collective. We will understand more about how the system behaves and how the individual identifies with it. Plus, as in every module, we will have family constellation practices and exercises. So let's go to the next level, which is called family dynamics. And for me, this is one of the most profound modules where we will see the systemic perspective about family, love, and relationships. We will study different types of dysfunctional family system patterns and dynamics that affect couples, relationships, and parenting. Plus, we will address topics related to divorce, adoption, and more. Also, we will study the transactional analysis and the stages of development of the individual and where the love got stuck along, I'm sorry, along that development. Of course, we will learn ways to reconcile these dynamics and how to create order for the family system. And again, we will do constellation practices with the students. Level 4 is called somatization. Yes. At this level, we will study everything that has to do with physical imbalances and conditions and how these are connected to the emotional field of the individual and the emotional resonance of the unresolved memories from the family system. We will study the systemic perspective about disease, death, addictions, mental and emotional disorders, anxiety, depression, and many others. And of course, you will experience possibilities to heal physical conditions from healing the emotional resonance through the method of family constellations. Plus, of course, we will have our practice with the students. Okay, let's go to level 5. Level 5 is called therapeutic vision. And this level gives us a different perspective about health, not only for the therapeutic field, but also how it can be applied at our interpersonal level with others. we learn the systemic ways of a helper. And this work is based on the orders of help of Bert Hellinger. Plus, we will see topics related to help, such as therapeutic vision, empathy, transference, judgment, and respect for the destiny of each individual. In addition, we will have our practice with these students. Okay, let's go to level 6. Level 6 is called Methodology and Grammar in Family Constellations. In this module, we learn how to make a map to see the family system's tendencies that create conflict in the individual. Also, we learn how to choose the energies that will be acting in the morphogenetic field, how to identify conflicts, how to flow within the field, how to allow intuition to guide you, what are the reconciliation images and phrases, and when to use them during the experience of family constellations. Plus, we will have a practice, of course, among students. Our level 7 is called facilitation. And in this module, I will teach you how to use figures, anchors, and other resources such as visualization for individual or group constellations. We will also learn how to do individual facilitation online and in person. One of the best parts of this module is recognizing and integrating the inner child wounds. And of course, we will practice everything with the students and with each other, of course, under my guidance. And the last level, level 8, is called group facilitation. And this module is 100% dedicated to online or on-site group practice. In this module, each of the students will facilitate a constellation for any of the other students and will be constellated by another student. All of this will be supported by me, of course, and at the end, where we usually have our graduation ceremony with a very beautiful ritual. I will share a little bit of those pictures at the end of this presentation. And those are the 8 levels of the program. As you can see, it is a very deep program for the healing of the individual and the collective soul. So let me see, if you allow me, I can show you a little bit of or an overview of what this program includes. This training program on family constellations includes this. Let me see, let's go to the next slide. And it is 8 levels of profound teachings and practice on family constellations that has a value of $3,800. That also includes 8 group meetings through Zoom to clarify material and for Q&A that has a value of $240. Plus, we have a bonus, which will be reading material and videos to support your education and growing that has a value of $180. So this is the full content and value of everything that adds up to $4,220. However, you won't be paying that today because this is our one-time offer for this year and because life is in need of helpers to transcend the ancestral past. We need volunteers to do this process to help heal the system of life through individual healing. So I'm sending the call to see who feels ready to take this process of transcendence. Our special offer for those souls who want to serve themselves, their systems, and life will be that of $2,800. You will save around $1,420. And well, I don't know, maybe I'm going to give you a special offer as well because maybe you don't count with that amount at this moment. So I'm thinking that I have a special offer for you. If you already know that this program is what your soul is calling you to do, I'm willing to give you a chance to pay this amount in 8 installments. Yes. And these installments will be without interest. So you will be paying only $350 per module each month if you take this offer from today to the 26th of March when the offer ends. And that will be Sunday. So to buy, you can click on the description button here on YouTube, or you can go to my website, systemichealinginstitute.com, which has both possibilities to do the payments. And remember that this offer will end on Sunday, March 26th. So by Monday, the installments will go up to $400 and the full program to $3,200. And by Friday, the program, of course, will go back to its original value of $4,220. Now, I'm telling you, if you are not sure about this program or these results, I do understand, of course. I've been there too. That's why I want to offer you a money back warranty. If after 21 days, what dias, I'm sorry, I was speaking Spanish. After 21 days of taking the first level, you feel that it didn't generate in you any sort of transformation, neither energetic, mental, emotional, or in any way, I will reimburse your investment. You can send me an email and I will send your money back. Okay, two more things. A space is limited to 20 students. I like having a small group so I can focus on the process of each student and in training them well so that they can facilitate this therapy for to others. If um, if that is what, of course, they decide to do, because not everybody wants to be facilitating, but if that's what they want to do, which will make me profoundly happy if they do, because we need this sort of work out there, I would say, to transcend life, and you can be a possibility. So some people take this program also for their individual growth, and others to have more therapeutic tools in their field of work. Okay, and the second thing that I want to say is that we will start our first module next weekend, April 1st and 2nd. Each module takes a weekend, Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can take it online through Zoom or in person in the city of Kissimmee in Florida. Either option is good. In this case, you will learn, in any case, in any of these two cases, you will learn to make constellations online and in person, individually and in groups. The modules happen once a month, usually the first weekend of each month. You can see the full schedule in our website, systemichealinginstitute.com, so you can organize your agenda. And okay, that's pretty much what it is. I'm just telling you that it'll be important for you to, if you are thinking about it, to sign between here and Sunday. First of all, because you can get to take advantage of the offer, and second, because we have this limited space only for 20 students. Did I mention the extra bonuses? Maybe I didn't. So let's talk about the extra bonuses. If you buy the full program from today to the 26th, I will send you a copy of my book, Alchemy for the Soul, in paper version. Also, you will be able to be part of our tribe, where I invite you to be part of family constellation sessions, where you will be able to learn more, develop skills to facilitate, and of course, continue your own healing process. When one person constellates, well, we also heal and learn. And the third extra bonus is that once you graduate, you can be part of our directory of facilitators from the Institute, where we will be promoting you. So again, I am going to share the whole, what the program includes. And you can save, of course, some money if go from here until the 26th of March and pay the full program for 2,800. Or you can go by installments of 350 and you still get the same offer until the 26th. So let me go over everything again, just in case, just you need to clarify. It includes 8 levels of profound teachings and practice on family constellations that has a value of $3,800, 8 group meetings through Zoom to clarify material and for Q&A that has a value of $240, reading material and videos to support your education and growing that has a value of $180, a copy of my book, Alchemy for the Soul, if you buy the full program from today to the 26th. Also to be part of our tribe, where I invite you to be part of Family Constellation sessions and to be part of our directory of facilitators from the Institute, where we will promote you as a constellator. All of this has a value of 4,238, and you will be paying only $2,800. Or you also can pay the installments of $350 a month. So just remember that this goes all the way to the 26th. Then right after the installments will be 400. So again, your freedom will be that of your ancestors and of future generations. And someone must liberate the system. Would that be you? So before I finish this part, I want to share a little bit of these pictures of our graduation moments. We teach in 2 languages, English and Spanish. If you speak Spanish and want to take this program in Spanish, visit our website and check the dates for the Spanish training. I hope to see uh, you be part of the graduation picture for 2023. I'm sharing this one again. It's different graduation moments that I wanted to share with you. All right, so let me exit this. Yes. Us, yeah. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm hoping that this information that I shared somehow brought some light to you. And before we go to check some of the comments and questions you have, let me just say something else. I want you to think about this. A constellation session costs around $250 to $400. And when you take a module, you will be paying the value of 1 hour session for a complete 2-day module where you will learn, be constellated during the program more than once, and also leave this program ready to facilitate others. If you are a healer, a therapist, a psychologist, or a coach, this therapeutic tool is an investment that will be returned with approximately, let's say, 10 therapy sessions. Yes, family constellations are in demand, I would say. In this moment of evolution, we are healing our DNA to change the programming of the past that involves misaligned emotions, unconscious memories, and mental limitations. So our healing can generate a different feeling and perspective that can change the reality of the individual and in a bigger picture of all humanity. And this can be done through family constellations. We need the transformation to happen at a soul level, not only at the level of the mind. Yes? So this training has 2 intentions. One is to accomplish self-transcendence work. And the other one is to train you to facilitate family constellation therapy for others. Who should participate or who should take this program? Well, it is recommended for healers, therapists, coaches, or for those souls willing to heal the repetitive patterns and invisible loyalties of their ancestors that affect not only their life, but the system of life. Also, for those who seek a better quality of life for themselves, their family, and their community. Let's say leaders, teachers, and influencers. I would say that anybody who is leading groups should be able to know this information. It will be so helpful for dealing with groups. And of course, for those who want to enjoy healthier and more harmonious relationships with their children, parents, spouse, friends, and others in their community. There are no prerequisites for this training. You just need a sincere and willing heart to participate in this deep transformation. This program is primarily based on the teachings of Bert Hellinger with some integrations of other therapeutic modalities to enhance the facilitation practice to a more psychological level, let's say. This training is mental, intellectual, and experimental. There will be some theory, right? But mostly we have hands on, lots of practice to develop intuition, to attunement to the morphogenetic field, and to create healing. Yes? Okay, so just remember that this program is limited to 20 committed participants, which allows personalized attention. And it is live with me. I will be your guide all the time. It's not just videos. I will be there doing the whole teaching and the whole practice with you. We will have also a WhatsApp group to share material and Zoom meetings once a month for Q&A. In addition to that, we record the modules and they remain private only for the students to review their material, and that is for life. It is like having your own library on family constellations. Also, if you don't get to come to one module, you can get to see the recordings. Of course, I'd rather you to be present, but in case you cannot come, you can see the recordings, or you can just wait for the next cycle to go. And if you miss one module, let's say, you can take it on the same on the next round. Yes. At the end of the program, we will give you a certificate of recognition as a facilitator, alchemist, and family constellations facilitator. And well, that's pretty much what I wanted to share tonight. And I want to go to see all the comments. I see Astarte has been commenting a lot, so let's see everything that she shared. If you want to see more about this program, I invite you to visit my website again, systemichealinginstitute.com. If you decide to get the program, as you can see, congratulations to those who have already registered. Welcome, welcome. I will be contacting you soon, of course, myself directly. So welcome, welcome. I welcome you all. And so let's go now to our Q&A session. I started, let me see what you just share a lot of things here. Let me see. It says, I had the same karma. I was 33 when my son was born and his father never committed to me. His father was abusive to me and also to him. I spent many years sad he wasn't present. Now my son is almost 16 and wants nothing to do with him. Oh my gosh, that's my story. And that's pretty much where my son is at with his father. But I'm telling you something. As as a mother, the more you reconcile, because it's the father of your son was your mirror to show you something that your family system has been carrying. Yes. So in my case, it was abandonment. I can see it is also happening to you. So it is probably part of the memories that your system needs to resolve. And you could be the one resolving that. In my case, I have created peace with that memory, and I included him even though he wasn't present. And I do that inclusion from my heart, right? Because he got to show me what I needed to see. And now my son has got his part. You know, he will have to work on his part. And I'm not to save my son, but I can actually facilitate his path when I do my own healing. So I invite you to, if you cannot take the program or you are taking another program as you are sharing there, maybe to do a session and a one-on-one session so you can begin transcending this memory, because your son's father only came to show you something, but it's not about him. Look behind you. What happened with mom or dad, or who left the system before you? Was it your father? Was it your grandfather? There was a masculine who left the system and needs to be included, not with judgment, because when you judge, you exclude. And I know it is a process of acceptance and understanding to be able to accept what happened. But you can begin by planting the seeds and putting yourself in the field and working on reconciling your ancestors before you get to reconcile your father's son. That's my observation that I want to share with all my love. Yes, thank you so much. Um, I don't know if anybody else have other questions or yes, I started. You can actually, what you can do is maybe you can take one module and see how you feel and take it and say, oh, that's what I was looking for, because you don't know until you really try it. And that's another invitation that I want to do. You know, sometimes because we haven't tried, we don't know what that is. It's new, pretty much. Family constellations is new out there. But if you give yourself the chance to experience family constellations, I'm sure you will get to understand, comprehend in a deeper level your emotions, your behaviors, others' behaviors, life, and things that happen around you. And you will be able to recreate your reality and your destiny as much as you get to work on those memories of your past and your ancestors' past. Okay. All right, my dear ones. I guess that's all I wanted to share tonight. I hope this information was helpful and that it serves you well. And I'm trusting that it is like that. That I planted some seeds for the right moment when you feel more ready to go deeper into your soul. There is a server here waiting for you with the open arms to facilitate this part of the healing, ancestral healing that we all must take responsibility to heal. So thank you so much. I honor you. I honor your presence. I'm sending you lots of love. And I hope to see you at the program. And I'm sure I will, because I already see some people already signed up. Welcome all. And I'll be so happy to be, of course, taking into this journey with you. Everybody have a beautiful night or rest of the afternoon. I don't know, it depends on where you are in the world, but I'm just sending tons of love and blessings to all. Thank you so much for hearing and for watching this video, and of course for sharing. Maybe you cannot take it, but maybe someone else might be looking to do this part of their healing work, which is the ancestral work. And maybe you can share this video and they can understand better what is happening to them. And this is the core. It is the core. Your soul knows. And if you are here, probably it's because your soul wanted you to hear this information, to understand better all of those things that I cannot understand about myself. Why do I feel this way? or how can I not do this other thing, or why the whys, right? Your soul brings you here to tell you most of the things that we feel are systemic, and any descendant can free themselves and their systems by doing this work. So I just sent out the call and the smoke signals, as I say. I did my part, and I hope you do your part whenever you feel ready. All right, sending blessings to you, and I'll talk to you next time around. Bye.